Welcome to another work log update. This is the Resurrected Hobbyist, and I am once again working on the 1/32nd scale Mobius models, Colonial Viper from Battlestar Galactica. As a reminder of where I am in the project, I had previously wired up the LEDs for the engines, and then tragically discovered that one of the LEDs was actually bad. So I had to order more LEDs, and for that I had to order more resistors, as you can see here. Of course, the reality is that it's just not worth getting a pack of like 5 resistors and 3 LEDs. It's just more cost effective to buy a package of 30 LEDs and 30 resistors. But I had a little bit of an accident that actually turned out for the best. So this is one of the LEDs that I bought. You see how it's kind of opaque, while the ones that I used previously are clear? Well, this type is known as water clear LEDs, and they produce more of a clean focus sort of light, a bit more like a light bulb. While these other ones that I recently bought are diffused style. The diffused light actually gives off more of a general area of light as opposed to the more focused projection of the water clear type. I found that I actually like the light given off by the diffused LEDs for the engines better than the water clear. So I'm actually going to replace all 3 of the original LEDs with these diffused LEDs. I've got my 3 LEDs. My 3 68 ohm resistors. Three segments of black wire and 3 segments of red wire. I'm once again going to connect the resistors to the negative leg of the LEDs, so let's get to work. And that's all 3 LEDs with resistors ready for soldering. I'm going to use my helping hands to hold the parts while I solder them. That's 1 down. That's 2. And there's 3. Okay, so that's all 3 LEDs with resistors attached now. Though now I've got a bunch of extra wire attached to the components that will get in the way, so that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But that's easy enough to do. A few snips with a good pair of cross cutters will do it. With the wires cleaned up, now to work on the rest of the connections. I'm starting with the red wires and I'm stripping off 2 segments. One shorter one to connect to the LED, and the second longer one to bridge all the lights together later. To make assembling the circuit a little easier, I'm going to bend the exposed wire into a small hook. Nothing extravagant, just enough to hold the lead from the LED. Alright, that one mounted up, let's get some solder on it. That's 1 connection, that's 2, and that's all 3. So now all 3 LEDs are ready for some heat shrink tubing. And with that, I will be back in just a moment. And there we are. I've got all 3 connections shrink wrapped. I was out of black wrap, so I used white and blue, but that's fine. I just need to make sure the connections don't touch, and the color of the shrink wrap doesn't affect that in the slightest. Now, the next step. I need to mount these LEDs in the engine compartment so they'll light up the thruster exhausts. I need to have one here, and one here. In looking online, I found a suggestion to use segments of styrene mounted here and here to mount the LEDs on. So that's what I'm going to do. So first I need to get an idea of length for the styrene mounts. Okay, there we go. I can glue that strut right in there, and we'll let that sit for a minute to give the glue a chance to dry. And we've got the armature built and mounted. Now I just need to mount the LEDs on it. For that, I'm using the good old trusty standby, hot glue. I do need to be really careful, especially the longer I use the glue gun, because it can actually get hot enough to deform the plastic of the kit itself. And that's really not something I want to do. So, here we go. It's got an okay connection there, but I need it to be really secure, so I'm going to build up the hot glue a bit more and the mounting around the LED with the hot glue. And there we go. Got all three lights mounted on the frame. Now let's just bridge the connections so everything connects. And there we go, we've got all the lights connected. Now let's connect the battery so we can see how it looks. And there we go. The diffused LEDs give off a nice kind of glowing hue effect, which actually works a lot better for the engine exhausts. Just need to clean up a little bit of the hot glue strands that got stuck on here. Thanks for checking out this work log video. If you like the project or other projects that I have done, be sure to click that subscribe button. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. If you want to support the channel more directly, you can donate through Patreon.